It's getting late around here. I only got to run 4 miles yesterday. Have you guys ever had a day where you just don't find any satisfaction in anything that you did? Like you have a day where you felt like you were too busy to do anything you wanted to do, but at the same time you don't feel like you really got anything done?
Oh, yeah.
That's frustrating, man.
It is, yeah.
Like yesterday, I wouldn't even find no satisfaction in the food I was eating. I was like, daggone, even the food I'm eating don't even taste good to me.
That's all right, bub.
Oh yeah, it's all right. It's just, obviously it's part of life.
Yeah.
You guys said you've had days like that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you look back on the day, and what usually when this occurs for me is when I have multiple things scheduled. So what did I have in the morning yesterday? Was that something with you? No, I had a appointment in the morning that we showed up for at 11:15, and it was at 12:15 they still had not called us out of the waiting room. So then they called us out of the waiting room. We went back, and then they said, "Oh, well, now you're going to be in the waiting room back here." And so then we were just like, no.
That double waiting room.
We're out. Like, we're not. How much longer is this appointment going to take? Oh, it's probably going to be at least another hour.
You waited an hour
We
and
waited
left?
an hour and then left because
that's-
we thought at least once they got us back, like, okay, we can do whatever needs to be done.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's okay. So there, boom. But you got to figure, I live 40 minutes from town. So that was like 3 hours of my day in the morning that was flopped, okay? So that kind of got me, in a then I only had like
You should have stuck
little
that appointment
break.
out.
I had a little
You
break
went and looked at the van.
between that, and I went and looked at a van because we're looking at getting like a camper van. Well, then I went and looked at the van, didn't like the van. Then I got home. Then I had a call. And so like when you only have those little spans of time between all of these things that you have scheduled, what I did yesterday is I was like, well, I only have an hour. So I'm just, what am I going to do in an hour? And I just end up not doing anything with that hour, but sitting around and thinking about what I should do with the hour that I have in between these things that I have on the schedule. Well, then the day gets done, and you look back on the day, and you're like, why didn't I just pick up a book or pick up the Bible and like spend 30 minutes reading, doing some, why didn't I take some time and pray? Why didn't I? But it's just like when you're stuck in this frustrating mode,
It's not a bad day.
It just piles
You
up
had
on
a few
itself.
things to do. I'm sitting there thinking like that's probably what most of us do every day. We get up, we got some things to do,
No,
we got a little bit of time, and
in the sense of intensity, like or busyness of the day, it wasn't a bad day. It was just a day where I felt like I didn't have time to go get my run in. I didn't have time to get my bike ride in.
Oh, you've always got time.
Well, I did squeeze a 4 mile run in.
See?
But yeah, and I get what you're saying, but it just feels like all of those. So the tasks that I did spend my time on didn't accomplish anything, right? Like if the van would have been like, oh yeah, we want to buy this now, then you feel like okay, we accomplished something. Or if we would have got the appointment, or something like that. So it was just one of those days, man. So that's obviously part of life. Dang, I'm totally sidetracked here now. What was I just telling y'all about all that for?
You were just complaining.
You guys have a grand opportunity this morning. You have special guest Chad Wright on
the second rates.
the podcast today. I mean, do y'all understand how many people would want me to come on their podcast? And here
A lot.
you have me on the podcast.
And you've
today.
showed up and complained. That's all you've done.
I haven't complained.
Chili said you were complaining.
I was making that statement so that the listeners can realize we all have days where you just can't seem to find enjoyment in anything it is that you're doing. That's okay. That's not unique to you. That's obviously part of the human experience.
It's okay that you complained. I complain sometimes too.
So what do you guys want to talk to me about today?
Chili was complaining when his harmonica wasn't working right.
I thought you had a song.
I do have a song, which is a good thing I have a song because I about bet you most people are tuning into the podcast these days to listen to me play and sing.
Yeah, pick.
It's probably the reason most people are here listening today.
Like that guitar sang.
So don't worry. You are not out of luck.
Are we going to make them wait?
You are not out of luck. I do have a song for you today, and if it be the Lord's will, I will play the song and sing for you.
Can you make folks cry when you play and sing?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
This one that I've got coming today.
Really?
And I'm going to have Chili on the playing the solos on the harmonica.
Dang.
So I'm going to strum. He's going to play the harmonica. I'm going to sing. If you guys want to sing a stanza, you can.
We could be backup.
Yeah.
Backup.
It's a
singers.
big song we're going to debut today.
Blake's a hype man.
Is it original?
Yeah, it's an original Christian song.
Oh, an original Christian song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to start doing a lot of Christian music on the podcast.
I got you.
Because we're Christians.
Well, I've heard the Christian guitar solos and things all have about 2 of the same notes. They have to make them that way so that these people in the local churches can just pick
Play
it
it,
up and
yeah.
basically play it without any experience. So
Yeah.
that's probably a good place to start. Christian music is poor these days.
I'm going to tell you.
Nah,
well,
there's some good stuff.
No,
well,
there
I'm
is
gonna-
some.
I'm going to. Yeah, whatever, Blake. Christian music is some of the best. That's some of the best songs I like, man. Like
Some of the
like
best
the-
songs I like.
Like the song we're going to sing today. Like, yeah, these are good songs. Don't be down on
Tell
Christian
them about
music,
Christian
man.
music, Dad.
I'm
What do you got?
I'm talking about some OG. I'm talking about some Ralph Stanley,
Okay,
Alison
yeah.
Krauss.
That's gospel.
Alison
Yeah, that's
Krauss.
Gospel
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, that's trade day music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them picking at trade day. It
You'd-
got
you'd
me
have liked-
fired
you'd
up,
have liked
dude.
it, son.
I could have jumped right in there.
Yeah.
Alan Jackson.
Did you see that one hit that?
Oh, Ethan.
I'm getting so good at the guitar now. My guitar was in the passenger seat of my truck out there a minute ago, and I bent over the guitar to grab my cup of coffee off the center console of the truck, and my shirt just barely rubbed against the strings of the guitar, and it played "Sweet Home Alabama."
Dang.
I was like,
It played.
I was like, whoa! I did that on accident.
Right.
My shirt literally just rubbed the strings and it played Sweet Home
You
Alabama.
probably won't even be podcasting this time next year.
No.
That was crazy. Okay, that's a new experience. That hasn't happened until just right then.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the days that we start announcing the local gigs we're going to be playing.
Well, man, he's had a roadside concert already.
Chad and the second rate's coming to Swift Coffee.
It's going to be big. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you.
Chad and the Reformers.
Speaking of, we do have some confirmed guests coming on the show.
Is the one confirmed?
yes.
The one.
Yeah, the one, the doctor, is confirmed. We also have Pastor Brian Pierce coming on the show next week, Lord willing. So a lot of I'm looking forward to having conversations with these men.
Highly reformed.
Yeah, I'm only looking forward to it on one condition.
What's that?
Are they reformed?
Oh, yeah.
And I still want to get this Doug guy from Cannon Press.
Oh, he certainly is. Doug Wilson.
Doug
Yeah.
Wilson.
Pastor Doug.
I want to get Doug Wilson on the show too.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
I think he'd be interested to talk to you now that he's seen your work.
You ought to have old Wes come out and be on, too.
He's in Canada, man. Like
Oh.
you can't ask somebody to come from Canada to the United States. That's just ridiculous. Nobody's gonna do that.
You got to get them local reformers.
Yeah, Doug ain't local, but
Well, no,
Oh, he's
yeah,
not?
but
He's
he's an
Idaho.
American.
yeah, Idaho if you count that.
Yeah, not really.
Doug. Little light conversation for y'all this morning before we get into the heavy topics, the hard-hitting topics, is I wanted to ask you guys, when you were growing up, okay, Blake, we grew up together. I love you, man.
For a period of time.
I love you, Bubba. What were some of the meals that you ate, like the standard meals that you ate when you were growing up that you can remember? Blake?
Hamburger helper.
That's all.
Salisbury steak.
Salisbury steaks. It's wild that those are the exact two that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Hamburger helper. What even is a Salisbury steak? I mean,
What's Salisbury?
yeah, seriously,
Salisbury.
It's like a puck of compressed meat and bread smothered in some sort of Salisbury or something.
It's smothered in Salisbury.
Yeah, what even is that? Yeah, what about you guys?
I mean, for breakfast growing up at my mom and papa's, for some reason I always remember salmon patties, cantaloupe, and biscuit.
Salmon patties.
It was like every morning. Salmon patties, cantaloupe, and biscuit.
Not for breakfast.
Yeah.
I never had no salmon patties for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
But that was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Nan will cook salmon patties for us too.
For dinner.
Breakfast for us on Sundays at Big Nan's was biscuits and sausage gravy.
Yeah.
That was the big one.
Yeah.
What about dinners, Corn?
I remember a lot of lasagna and spaghetti.
I think we did that too, didn't we, Blake?
Yeah, Mom used to do spaghetti.
Yeah.
Did y'all do TV dinners?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like real big, but they would be some,
Yeah.
When, lean cuisines, those?
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I would hit kid cuisines. It was a lean cuisine version for the youths.
Huh.
It'd have about like a thimble full of corn, a brownie, and a chicken nugget. And that's what I'd eat.
Dang.
Microwave?
Yeah, when I was real little, I'd hit the kid cuisines.
There you go.
And I had many iterations of like the staple meals that we had. And I had my early years, every day for lunch was a little pizza, little personal pizza.
Oh, like a Lunchable style where you kind of build your own? And
Well, no, it was an actual pizza. And I remember Dad would always get whichever one was on sale, at the time.
Of course
the little
he did.
pizzas.
Yeah,
And I remember one time I had gotten used to this one, and I tried this other one, and I was like, this one you got, it ain't going to work.
yeah.
And you know what he did? He kept getting the one because it was on sale until I could finally get and I looked forward to that other one.
Yeah.
That was my lunch.
That was a school lunch?
This was at home. I'm talking about real little.
Okay.
Like
Before.
4 years old, 5, yeah. Or summers when I was 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
That was lunch.
What about dinners? Any dinners you remember?
I mean, that was probably different periods of time. There was like early life, middle school age. It kind of changed, and then high school. I don't remember what all. I mean, we'd have tacos and spaghetti and whatever else, and
We were pretty consistent throughout.
really,
Yeah, we also
we had so many different.
we also did all canned vegetables always.
Yeah.
Sometimes have a steak and a sweet potato and a salad.
I don't
Okay.
think we did any
That's what I was wondering.
That's big, isn't it?
I don't ever remember eating steak for dinner. I mean, I'm sure we did, but on like really, what was
Hamburger
it, Dad?
steak.
Was it on like really special occasions? Did we ever cook steaks? It wasn't very often, was it? Because I don't ever remember having a big ribeye or nothing like that. Never. I mean, I didn't even know an avocado existed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, man. I don't even think I even acknowledged an avocado till my late 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, high school we started having chicken spinach pasta. That was a staple. Had that all the time.
Chicken spinach pasta.
Fancied up.
Mom used to do enchiladas pretty often. I remember that.
Okay. What about breakfast for dinner? Did y'all ever do
Oh,
that?
yeah, breakfast dinners.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
That's a
good
poor
bit.
man's trick.
Yeah.
That is?
Breakfast for dinner is a poor
I
man's
mean, I'll
trick.
still hit a breakfast dinner every now and then.
Yeah, I
We
like
used to do
breakfast
that.
Dinner. Yeah.
Breakfast is the cheapest meal. So if you can cook it for breakfast and for dinner,
Yeah.
you're saving money. Well, here's what I've been contemplating here. As we came up, just trying to scratch out a living by the sweat of our brow, eating Salisbury steak and hamburger helper
Hot Pockets.
and Hot Pockets.
Ooh, I never did that.
Corned beef.
What is it that has changed our palate from poor people food to actual real and good food? Because I was thinking about this while we were in Helen. We went and got a meal from the Bangkok House in Helen. Okay, because there's nowhere to eat in
I
Helen.
can't stand that place.
It is. It's a terrible place. Helen, Georgia is terrible. Like there's nowhere to eat. Well, we get this meal and we eat this meal, and here we've eaten
This meal.
like a plethora of nasty food, and I'm not kidding you. It felt like we hadn't eaten anything. You ate all this food, and then 10 minutes later, you were like, I need to eat something. But we were struggling to eat it the whole time because we knew it was just, sugar and really cheap ingredients and crap.
At the Bangkok house?
The Bangkok Haus.
House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told Brooke, I said, you know what's funny? Here we are sitting here like a bunch of stinking powdered whites complaining about this nasty food. I said, if we would have come here and eat at the Bangkok House 15 years ago or 20 years ago, we would have lapped that mess up. Ooh. And son, we would have thought we was high on the hog. I remember 20 years ago, if I was eating at the Beef O'Brady's, I thought I was a rich king. Okay? Yeah. If I was eating out anywhere other than Subway, I was the king. I'm talking about you went to the Pizza Hut or the Pizza House on a Friday night and spent a quarter of your paycheck, and you thought you was a king eating at the pizza farm. Okay? What changes a man's palate from being so satisfied with eating this junk food to now I'm to the point where I don't want to eat nothing unless it's out to eat, unless it's like a what's that place in Nashville?
Yeah, Husk is good.
A Husk or like even here in Rome. Like I there's nowhere I want to eat in Rome. Like what has changed that? Have you thought about that, Blake?
It's what you're used to.
It's been interesting watching Cornbread go through this. This is a very recent transformation for Cornbread.
He enjoys the finer things of life these days.
Yeah.
Corn does.
What was the first nice place we ever took Cornbread to eat? I remember it was
a big deal. He was upset about it.
He was. It was during a speaking engagement. We went and ate at this place that Chili picked out that was in like an old farmhouse.
Oh, okay. That was was that
South Carolina?
Yeah.
Corn was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the first one?
I think it was. I think it was the first time.
It was one of the first.
It was in St. Louis, and they wanted to give me my pork chop medium rare.
Oh, that was the first one.
Yeah,
that was the actual first one.
Yeah, I was like, no, I need the pork chop medium.
But
rare.
it was good, Then
Yeah.
we hit that South Carolina place, and you walked in there like a stiff.
Right.
But
He did. He was so bent out of shape.
Yeah.
Called up looking at the prices of everything.
Yeah. Looking at the prices of stuff. Who does that? Get what you want off the dang menu.
Yeah, I remember taking him. We went somewhere, and do you remember we went down to Daytona, and we was sitting in that parking lot waiting, and all these. He's like, "We can't eat here. Look what kind of cars is pulling up here. Look how nice these cars
That was
are.
crazy.
No way we're eating
That's
here."
what I'm saying. What's the transformation? What's the change? Because
What'd you think of that pizza place we ate at in Daytona? Remember that?
Where Santa Claus came in.
Oh yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah,
That wasn't great.
I don't know how the transition changes. It's just like Chili was asking me about that sourdough bread before we started the podcast. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make me some avocado toast. Like 15 years ago, and I'll put beets on it and chopped onions. And like 15 years ago, if somebody said, "Man, I got you some dang avocado toast right here," I'd have said, "You better fix me a dang bowl of cinnamon toast crunch."
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
or a
eat that.
bologna sandwich.
Yeah, and like every morning after I do whatever workout I'm gonna do, Chili don't like me to say rucking.
It's understood.
I got to have fruit and Greek yogurt. It's the same thing, and a tablespoon of honey. Like
That's pretty fresh, Bubba.
yeah, it's like I don't even know why I love to eat it. Is why I eat it. Like that's what I crave. You know? What I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but we used to crave a biscuit from
Yeah.
Martin's or the gas station.
Exactly. When you
I mean,
don't-
how many gas station biscuits have you eaten in your life?
So
Me, I've ate a lot.
So Austin come yesterday and brought biscuits, and it was like, dude, I don't want a biscuit. Like I got my yogurt and my fruit. And before, years ago, son, you bring me a Bojangles biscuit, we about to have a time. We're gonna eat that together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Me and Brooke lived off of Panda Express for probably a year and a half while we were living in Chula Vista, California.
Yeah.
Lived off of Panda Express, and we thought we were kings.
I guess I hadn't lost that. I mean, I still like a McDonald's or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still like it.
Like you hand me a McDonald's fry,
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, that's good too.
But like on the average, that's not what I crave at all. You know?
Well, I think you don't know what you don't know, and when you eat that stuff, you just say, "Salisbury steak, like that's gonna be big.
Yeah.
We're about to have a good meal." And then you have something that's good, and you say, "Dang, that's a lot better." And I actually feel a little bit better after
Yeah.
I've ate that.
Yeah.
Then you go eat a Salisbury steak again, and you just feel like laying down and going to sleep,
Yeah.
bogged down, and
Yep.
you have the means to eat better, and
You're getting
'Cause it's
at- you're getting at-
expensive.
You're getting at the conclusions that I've come
Boy,
to.
it is.
it's expensive to eat right and to eat good and to eat fresh things. It costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it should be your number one expense
Yeah,
in your life.
yeah, it's expensive.
Without a doubt, it should be your number one expense is the food you're eating. You're getting at what I think caused the transition for me. It was location and money. Okay? When you live in between Rockmart and Dallas, Georgia, and that's where you're growing up, I don't care how much money you've got. You ain't gonna go get no good food nowhere.
Not then you wouldn't.
Food desert.
They're just no good food. Rome's about the same way.
Yeah,
But but also when you live in San Diego, like me and Brooke lived in San Diego, and we didn't have enough money to eat anything but Panda Express. Well, then you're living in a place that's full of great food. It's available, but you don't have enough money to experience it. But when you reach a point in life where you have the money and the location, and those two things come together, it changes your palate completely. And you begin to want to eat things that are good.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
I think that's the two components. I really do.
yeah. I'd agree with that. I can see that. We really ain't in the place to be able to eat that way, but we eat as good as we can around here.
It's just what you get used to, man. You know, like
Yeah, for sure.
You
You can't be used to good stuff when you don't have the money or the location to do it.
Yeah.
So you're just used to the crap.
I might get me a good Salisbury steak.
Yeah, Hungry Man or something like that. Hit
Yeah.
that on the way home.
You know, I remember one time we were,
That cellophane off the top.
I guess I was probably in middle school, and Mom poured out a can of Jolly Green Giant green beans into the bowl to boil it, and out come a rat,
Yeah, in the can of beans.
a full
Sealed
rat,
can of beans.
full rat in there.
She could have made millions right then.
Actually, yeah.
Full rat.
Wow.
Yep. We ate it because that's all we had. But
And the rat.
but we didn't want to.
We were over at Mom's the other day, or no, it's been probably over a year ago, and Brooke was cooking cauliflower, which is a finer thing to be eaten, you know.
That was nasty.
And she gets down a bottle of olive oil, covers the cauliflower.
No. Canola oil.
Was it canola oil?
Yeah.
Canola oil, because that's all Mom had. And we all get to smelling something. Terrible smell.
Oil gone bad.
We're just like, what the crap is that smell? Finally, somebody just happens to glance at the bottle of canola oil, and Mom had covered the top of it with a piece of tin foil because I guess she had lost the lid, and a rat had crawled down in that bottle of canola oil and died.
That is unbelievable.
And so we poured rat oil all over the cauliflower, and that's what we were smelling.
And had to eat it because that's all we had.
Giant.
Yeah.
Dang.
Rat juice.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad, they are some nasty people, man. They're always having rats in their mess.
Good. Great.
That actually happened. Anyways, the richer you get, the harder it is to find good places to eat. Yeah.
Wow.
Can you meet over at Mom and Dad's without your belly hurting?
Yeah, I mean, you get, the richer you get, the softer you get, really. I mean, straight up. I mean, you used to be able to live off of Hamburger Helper and you know.
Well, you ought to be as soft as talc now.
And one I'm telling you, man, the richer you get, the softer you get, man.
That's what we cooked when the pastor come over, was Hamburger Helper.
That was the big,
Yeah.
the good meal.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you guys?
That's just funny.
I mean, it's good food.
Why is it hot in here, man?
I don't know. I can go check the thermostat. It was piping cold when I got in here.
Because he turned it way up.
I turned it up like 73 or something.
Yeah.
You need to get
'Cause-
this right, man. Here we go.
AC's fixed, and
Like
Blake
I said,
turns it to 80.
every time we record a podcast, it's like reinventing the wheel. How does this happen? How do we do this? We've only done it twice a week for the last 5 years and 400 and some odd episodes.
Well, if you'd find us a good office, we'd be able to set it up.
This is a great office, man. Now that we have some air conditioning. So, today's episode brought to you by Hoist.
Yeah.
Well, that's outstanding. If you guys haven't heard of Hoist, it's IV level hydration. Got everything you need in it to keep you going further, faster, longer. Calcium, potassium, magnesium. Made in the USA. 0 preservatives. Pairs very well with coffee. Hoist is an amazing company with an amazing product. And if you get outside, you sweat, you run, you work. We don't really do manual labor anymore. But if you did manual labor, Hoist would be a great benefit to you. Yeah, check them out at drinkhoist.com. Got 70 calories. I've used it for years in all different environments, and it flat out works. Sits well with your stomach, tastes good, is good for you, hydrates you better than water. Drinkhoist.com. Hoist, thank you for making this episode of the 3 of 7 podcast possible.
Hey, man. I asked Corn yesterday, speaking of manual labor, if I was like, I'm blue collar. That's what I said. I said, I'm pretty blue collar, you know? And he said, no, Bubba. And I said, what? I said, you can't call me white collar. And he was like, yeah, you're tank top. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
He said, you're not blue collar, you're tank top. Now, come on, that's disrespectful.
He ain't even got now collar.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's not rich enough to be white collar yet.
No.
Yeah, you can't call me white collar, but
So
I'm blue collar.
You're definitely not blue collar. The only manual labor I've ever seen Chili do was he loaded a Rubbermaid table in the back of my truck the other day.
That brown one?
I couldn't believe it. He made a big deal out of it, too. He came here, I finally got that table stuffed in the back of your truck back there. He made a huge ordeal about it.
Yeah. You could have licked that day, didn't you?
He really did, man.
I bet he slept in that next morning.
Collar got rust on it.
Yep.
Son.
Oh, man. Well, boys, it's good to be back with y'all. Y'all got anything you want to ask me about? Anything been on your mind that you might want advice about or anything?
No, I mean, I think I'm good. You've been on a long pull. You have been on a long pull.
Well, I'm about to tell you guys some stuff that you need to hear
Okay.
that you don't know you need to hear yet.
How would we?
But I'm about to tell you guys and everybody listening some important stuff. Okay. Who won? Did y'all talk about who won last week?
On the podcast?
No, the ruck challenge.
Who won?
On Monday?
Before I get into my
We didn't talk about it
what I
Monday.
want to talk about here.
No, we didn't talk about it.
There's
Okay,
a big update.
I saw some guys put in some big miles
I'm
on the
talking-
ruck challenge.
Big miles. Two guys in particular. Last week was most distance in the week, 30 pounds. Number 2 was Blake Alvey.
Oh my gosh, he didn't get it. He didn't get number one.
And man, it's been exciting. You can ask Chili to
I
watch.
literally get
To watch
excited
all
watching
the
it.
spots, really.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every
All
spot,
Blake cares
really.
about is last, and
But-
all Chad cares
I'll
about
ask
is
that in a
first. I like the whole.
But Blake Alvey had 202 miles for number 2. He got second.
That is a lot of dang miles to put in a week.
202.8.
Wow.
Tom Brennan, 216.2.
Oh my gosh.
with
man.
a lot of dang elevation too, by the way.
Yeah, those were your top 2.
Blake did most of his on the track.
Good bit of it, I think.
He done a good bit of it on the track, yeah.
Which is its own type of misery in its
Oh, yeah.
own way. I mean,
Monotony.
you put in 20 miles on a track.
Yeah,
I mean, you better have something you're real interested in your headphones.
absolutely. The
Who got third?
the Reaper got third,
Even on LLD.
Well,
Still got third?
116.4.
That's a big week. 216 miles?
Yeah.
Does it calculate their time
Yeah.
spent doing
Yeah,
that? How
so-
much
so,
time
like-
did it take?
So, well, I'd have to go back and click each one individually. Like mine, 116.4 was 35 hours, 43 minutes.
but I looked up. I seen how long it took Tom.
Yeah.
It was right at like 60 hours,
The entire group
58 hours, something like
did
that.
1,362 miles in 1 week.
Wow.
The entire group together. Rounding out the top 10 was Zachary Wagner with 68.7. Derek Rosen come back from the ROP as an honorable mention. He has been hammering it. He's doing really good this week at the 50-pound most distance in a week. But he finished number 7 last week at 92 miles. From 6 all the way to first, you had to have at least 101 miles. Yep.
Really?
Yeah, Brandon Rager was number 6 with 101.9. 0.6.
Wow.
Tom did it in just under 58 hours, 216 miles.
That's the work right there, boy.
That's serious.
Tom
man.
has his structured out. His wife's helping him with nutrition and hydration, and he has his days structured out. And Blake Alvey last week was just hammering all day long.
Yeah.
All day long.
This has turned into quite the competition.
Absolutely.
I've never even heard anything like it.
Yeah. It's getting a lot of good feedback too. A lot of people realizing, how you can let responsibilities go while you're training, weighing what's best for your day, training and family and work. It's getting a lot of good feedback. Yeah.
I mean, if you work and then you ruck for 60 hours,
Yeah.
it's just say you took a Sabbath. You rucked 10 hours a day for 6 days.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Tom probably worked for 60 hours in the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been big.
That
Ruck
dude,
for
that
60.
dude is tough, man.
Oh, he's legit
Tom-
as they come.
He's so small and just compact and strong and high strung. He's got all the elements, He's got all the elements.
He's got some dang endurance too.
He's got his military background. He's just a tough son of a gun. I mean, I'd pit him against about near anybody that I've ever met if he set his mind to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This week's aiming to be a pretty high week too. Tucker Perkinson's leading it right now, number 1, 50-pound ruck at 50.1 miles.
Dang. So was Tucker in top 6 last week?
No,
or?
he got injured pretty much day 1. So he backed off for last week.
Okay.
There's some strategy, There may be some challenges that if you're getting too beat up, it ain't even worth it for you to ruck it all,
Right.
Like if you're trying to get the most points, it's a 10-week challenge. So I think you're seeing some people push at certain times and pull back at others strategically. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Tom just seems to be hammering the whole thing.
The whole thing. And Blake Alvey.
Yeah,
Yep.
Blake too.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man. 216 miles in a week. I mean, I don't know, man. This whole thing's got me wanting to enter into this.
He did 100
and
more than me, and it like to shut me down.
You got put on LLD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did half of it after going
you
on
don't
LLD,
even
but-
know the full of it. He withheld much information from us till we heard Ann on speakerphone
Yeah.
of the extent of
He's
his,
had a lot of health effects.
Well,
Yeah.
he's doing the right thing. I told him, forget about everything else and go for it.
yeah.
Forget about your family, your work, your health. Go for it.
That's right. I work for a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Well, this has got me wanting to compete in
Corn got
this
his-
challenge. Although I don't know if I could hang with these boys. I mean,
No, you couldn't.
216 miles in a week?
Yeah.
You know what me and Corn have been talking about? Doing in the future doing more ruck challenges, but also doing a run challenge.
That's gay. No, this is way
That would
better.
suit you way better, Bubba.
Well, yeah, but this is better though, man. This ruck I mean, when I went on a ruck march with cornbread the other day, and I have not done a ruck march for fitness since Bud's SEAL training, and it's hard.
Yeah.
When you're in the mountains, I don't know we didn't do it on the flats. I mean, but even on the flats, if you're doing mileage like that, I mean, it's hard. That added weight is hard, man.
Yeah, it's rough for sure.
Corn had his whole neighborhood in uproar from he was wrecking so much. They was all coming out talking, what are you doing walking around here all hours of the night? Don't you know Kenny's tree about to fall over out here?
Yeah, it was
Making people's dogs bark.
it was surprising them because Sunday I did most of it on my street, and so I was on the street.
Just in case somebody had to call an ambulance and haul you off. You wanted Ann to know where you were at.
No, because Ann was working, so I had to be close to my mama.
Uh-huh.
So I was passing by the house, every 15 minutes. But all the neighbors was coming out. What you training for? What's going on? You getting your steps in today? On and on. And one lady come out 2 houses down. She said, "Me and my husband's figured up what you've walked this week." And I said, "Oh yeah." She said,
Pretty close.
"About 16 miles a day." And I said, "Well, you pretty close
I'll
to
be
that."
darned.
Yeah. So they're noticing. So maybe some of them will get out and put them a sack on.
This is a really cool challenge, man. Like I loved the idea when you guys came up with it.
That's
but,
Corn's idea.
But now that it's actually like seeing what these guys are putting into it is it's legit, dude.
Yeah.
This is no joke. 10 weeks straight is no joke.
You get up of the morning, and one or two of them would have already shared a Bible verse and something about the Word, and talk back and forth in the morning about it, and then they go to putting in their work, man.
I'm loving it, dude. And I'm not even entered into it, which they're lucky I'm not, because I would destroy all of you if I was in this challenge.
That's what I thought too.
You would have absolutely no chance of even winning at all if I was in the ruck challenge. But
Well, he don't know your story, Billy.
Yeah, but just let him keep thinking like that.
Before another time.
yeah, we ain't doing no run challenge. This is ruck challenge, man.
Yeah, well, let me go ahead and tell
Forget
you,
that.
you wish it was a run challenge.
Forget that run challenge crap.
We
We'll
might
put-
do that in the future,
We'll
though.
put on a run challenge for y'all, hopefully this coming up March. And we have another run challenge for y'all coming up in October called Mountain Mama Farms Classic.
4 and 8 hour
4
race.
and 8 hour, and the Ruck Championship going down on the farm of our friend Stacy Marshall. We'll have Steve MC in the event. It's a big day out there. You can check it out on Ultra Sign Up. Just search Mountain Mama Farms Classic.
You know, all these
And,
people wanting a dang challenge and whatnot. We dang got one. Open to all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got
That's October. Perfect time of year. The
grief.
weather's going to be great. It's a beautiful private farm.
Quit acting like you're looking for a challenge.
There's going to be activities for kids and all that. So that's a big day. I won't be there, unfortunately.
Well, you putting in the work for the company in other places.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you taking one.
I'm
for the
called
team.
to other places that day, boys.
Yeah, you've been on a serious pull, man.
Yep.
Still on it.
Which, well, that's kind of what the scripture that I wanted to share today on the podcast for you guys that I've been contemplating on here lately. You know, as I look back over in the last 2 months, I sent y'all a text the other day. Me and Brooke have lost a child we'll never know. I've lost a good friend and lifelong mentor to cancer. And now we just lost our dog. Talk about a black day. Saturday was a black day. Of all the losses I've had across the span of my life, losing this dog was the worst. I mean, it was terrible. I'm talking about terrible, son. And people say, that's so silly, you fool, it's a dog. Okay, I get it. If you're not an animal person, Blake, Chili, y'all don't like animals, I get it. What was different about this dog is, one, we're dog people. I'll admit that. We do love dogs. But two, my life has been different than most people's lives. I have spent my entire adult life up until 5 years living somewhere apart from my entire family. And it was me and my wife and these dogs, right? We didn't have other people to lean on. We didn't go eat at mama's house. We didn't do none of that stuff. It was us and these dogs. And this particular dog we got before we were married, and as Brooke was going through her addiction, she attributes basically her survival to this dog because she can recall so many times when she would or when she didn't take too many drugs because she knew she had to get up and let this dog out that she loved. And this dog had such a special place for these really unique reasons. And I think we have become more attached to this dog because of that period of hardship that we went through when Jada played such a large part in that for Brooke while I was gone. You know, and when I was gone, it was just her and Jada, the dog. And then just by nature of our life, you know, I think we got closer to this animal than most people would because we didn't have kids. We didn't live around family. We didn't have close friends because we were constantly moving, you know, going here, there. I'm all the time gone. So, you know, if you don't get it, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you it was a black day Saturday when we lost this dog. And at the last minute, we had planned for years to cremate this dog, and we're going to take her ashes to all of her favorite places and spread her ashes out up in Virginia where we spent all of our time together. Well, at the last minute, Brooke was like, I don't want to do that. I want to bury her, like an hour before she passed. And I'm so thankful that Brooke did that because it was quite the experience to really see this beloved animal, to be able to see it through to the end, from the beginning to the end. We cared for her. You know what I mean? And it was a really strange experience, and it made me think, and I think I mentioned it on the truck talk that I did. It was strange to be in the midst of this great grief, like terrible, son. I don't know. I never even had nothing experience like this. I don't know. The only people I think that could die that would make me more sad is if Blake died or my wife died or one of his kids died. I think that's the only people that could die that make me more sad than when this dog died. Straight up. I mean, that sounds crazy. I'm just being straight. I mean, I was smitten. Smote me, son. But to be in the midst of that and to have to go out and dig this dog's grave and that hard old dirt over there in the edge of that field, that hard old stinking dirt, there was something about that process of being in that grief and having to dig that grave, carry the body, put the body in the grave, I'll never forget the moment where we put Jada in her grave and me and Brooke are both together with our hands pulling the dirt down over that body. It was wild, man. And then having to go down to the creek and haul a bunch of big rocks up to cover the grave with. It was like that physical labor aspect of it, because it was hard work. It was like the next day I was sore, man. I ain't run a shovel in a minute. And we dug a big old grate hole. I did. And there's something about that was like working that, it was like working that grief out of you. You know what I mean? And so, that being said, before we proceed any further, if I die before y'all, I expect y'all to dig my grave for me.
Corn can run a backhoe?
No, by hand.
Well, it'll be me and Blake digging it and Chili watching.
He'll be consulting.
That ain't gonna be near wide enough.
Hey, get that corner. You get that corner straight right there.
Hey, Johnny P. Wright just put in an application for the rock course.
That's Ronnie's nephew.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man.
Candy Ronnie.
I'm telling you, man. I really think that we're missing out on so much of what dying has to offer to us and to teach us. as humans. I really think we're missing out on so much of what we can be a really rich experience. Painful, full of grief, but a very rich experience because there's so many things that go with it. The labor, the sweat, the tears, the smells of the dirt, and it's a rich thing. And nowadays, we're so mechanical. Somebody dies, somebody hauls it off, somebody feels it. Here's this thing laying in a casket that's got makeup on. Go out here, they got a hole already dug, put it in there. Everybody leaves.
Nobody's got time for it anymore.
I'm just telling you, we're missing something, man. I mean, I'm just telling you, straight up.
Death is a weird thing to people, and they choose to just remove themselves from it as much as possible. And that's why all these industries have came in and said, "Oh, I'll take that part from you. You don't need to have to deal with that."
You don't even have a choice anymore, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how we've let it get to where it's that expensive to die.
Yeah.
And
you can still.
Well, but it's you got to go through the runaround and have, some land picked out and have your family cemetery or whatever.
You can bury somebody in your backyard.
I don't know. It depends on where you live.
Depends on the state you live in.
Yeah.
It depends on the state you live in. But we think we have to do it this mechanical way. But when you start looking into it, you don't have to do it that way. As long as you have somebody come out and confirm, yes, this person died of natural causes, yes, they're dead, then you can do everything else. But you better do it quick.
So some places even require you to have the casket put into a vault.
Yep.
And you ain't going to manhandle a vault.
No, that some cemeteries do require that. Yeah.
Right, yeah. There's a family in Cedartown. They wouldn't mind me saying their name. The Gables. I'm not saying all Gables in Cedartown do that, but the family I know of Gables, they dig their own graves when someone passes away. I always just assumed it was to save money. I could be completely wrong. They may have a perspective like you're talking about.
Even in the cemetery, they go in there and dig it.
Yep. Do.
Yeah, and I imagine you do have that option, even if you purchased a plot in a established cemetery, and you said, "Hey, we want to go out and dig this grave by hand." I imagine you have that option to do that.
I would assume so.
Yeah. But I think we're really missing out on something. Because that was, like I said, a very rich experience. And, of course, if we're going to do this for each other and we're going to do this right, if any of y'all wants me to do this for you, if you die before me, maybe you don't care.
I don't care.
But like you gotta kind of get ahead of it. You got to have a plan in place, because if you don't, well, then somebody dies. Well, you got to do something with them pretty quick. You got to have a plan in place.
You're looking more for a graveyard. Like if you get,
I would really. One of my life dreams is to purchase a piece of land, even if it's just for the purpose of a family and friends cemetery.
Well, a cemetery, there actually is a difference. I did learn this. I had to look it up just to refresh. But a cemetery is just your typical, where you bury a bunch of random people together, an established place. Cemetery. A graveyard is when it's typically attached to like a church. Like, so all these churches, old school churches where you see headstones in the back and all that stuff, that's a graveyard. And that's a distinction because they have different rules and stuff, and they can just, that's usually where all the church members are buried and everything. So you could probably start a graveyard attached to, have your own little land, and it's all just your family and friends and all that. And
we looked at a house not long back that had a cemetery.
A graveyard.
Ooh,
well, it wasn't part of a church.
I wouldn't want that.
So, but it had something where some folks was buried, and you didn't own that. Like if you were to buy the house, you wouldn't own that land, and you have some sort of requirement to keep up the grounds of it, to, I don't know what the standard of the maintenance was.
But you don't own it.
No, but it was staked out like it had, pins, and part of it came into the driveway and kind of sectioned it off and had some headstones there. Yeah. And you have to allow the people to come visit if they want to.
Yeah, Chad's graveyard would be all for reformed, but.
Well, I used to think all this stuff was silly, like what are you gonna go sit by somebody's grave and this and that? So, well, me and Brooke over the last few days have spent many hours out there sitting by Jada's grave. And I don't know, how do you guys feel about this whole cremation thing? I mean, just your personal feelings on that.
I mean, as far as what?
You don't have no problems with it?
I don't.
As far as how you feel about it, I mean, like if it's okay or not.
Well, I mean, is it okay? Is it something you would do? Is it you?
I think me and Blake are in pretty lockstep with all this stuff. I don't have any, no, it's not wrong to get cremated or whatever. Or like some people are afraid to burn up your body and all this stuff. No, your body going to decompose either way after you die, and I don't give a crap what you do with me because I'm dead. Yeah. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
All the way around.
I'm sort of the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but the things that we're talking about here are for the growth and the benefit of the ones who are still alive. Yeah. Obviously, you're dead. It's just like I'm talking about the ones who are still alive. We're missing out. My personal opinion on this cremation thing is I think it's a bunch of bull crap. I think that we're missing out on so much richness by just sending this body off to be burned up somewhere. And you guys have heard me say in the past, we have these traditions, old-time traditions around death of providing an opportunity for friends and family to see the body in an open casket, digging the hole, burying, covering it up, having a place there where the body lays dust to dust, right? I just think that those traditions are in place for a reason, and it serves the ones who are still alive to go through this process that is something that's meaningful and beneficial for them.
Yeah.
Not only in forcing them to contemplate their own mortality, but for giving them the closure of, here's the body. We're taking care of this to the end. Yep. This is someone we love. We're going to close the loop on this here. I just don't see how when you whisk the body away and burn it up in a furnace that there's any closure in that loop. I mean, death is a strange thing.
Yeah,
you think that this person's not, or for us, this dog's not here anymore. But we know the body is in the bottom of this grave because we put it there and covered it up. Like it closes the loop on it. I just think that was done that way for good reason. And of course, like so many things, we just buck the things that are the way they are for meaningful purposes for the sake of our own convenience.
Well, I'm sure it got blowed way out of whack too when business got involved with it and when politics got involved with it. Like I'm sure you was talking about having a land. If you had an acre beside where you live now and you just started burying folks there, the county and or the state's going to show up and say, Bubba, you ain't talked to us about none of this. What in the world is going on? And you ain't taking these people to a funeral home. They ain't getting embalmed. You ain't doing everything you're supposed to do. You're just throwing your family and friends in the ground, and you can't do that.
You would be surprised because I think that's what the business and that's the perspective they want the public to have.
So you're saying that you can do more.
You can do more along those lines than you think is legal.
Okay.
Once you've got
The main legality is you have to have a I guess it's a coroner come out and say, yes, this person did die and was not murdered. And then after that, you can have the viewing right there in your house. And depending on the state you're in, you could bury this person in your backyard.
But I'm confused about what you want, because on one hand you seem to be saying that you think all of these traditions are good, and like, you know, you do the whole process and embalm them and you view them and all that stuff. No,
I don't want to embalming.
But now you're saying that like you'd rather just get that completely out of it. You have them die right in your house. All right, quick, let's go bury them and done.
It has to be the next day.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's two different things that you want. You seem to like the traditional process and think there's something to it, but then also kind of want to get away from how it is now.
Well, I mean the traditional process and going back to let's say 1800s.
That you, the family unit, the friend unit, or whatever that might be, is taking care, making sure the body is buried and all that together.
Yeah. So it's like, oh man, old Paris James, he's getting close. You call everybody up. Okay, we know. Okay, somebody dies. You better come see the body the next day, because you're putting him in the hole.
Yeah.
You know, you're laying there dying, and you like, what's that sound? Oh, that's cornbread and chili. They're out there digging that hole. They're getting ahead of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, man,
I don't know.
You can take it for what you want, but
do you think you get closure out of looking at somebody that just died or something that just died?
I think if you're not with them when they die, I think friends and close friends and family should have the opportunity to see that empty shell of a body, to close that loop of like, there's the body.
Yeah.
It's done. You know, it was like, I think there is closure in that. And obviously, Chili, maybe it's different for each individual person, but for me personally, I think there is closure in that. I mean, I think it was, like I said, that moment of pulling dirt over this body and saying, she's finished. She ran her race.
Yeah.
There is closure in that.
Well, there's something. Have any of y'all ever been a pallbearer? I'm sure James probably has.
Yeah, I was a pallbearer for Dawn.
There's something to that too. Like
there is.
I mean, I've been a pallbearer for just about everyone in my family that has passed away, and there's something to it, some type of closure, some type of, even for yourself, I'm helping to get this done in a respectful way. There's something to that too. I remember my grandfather and grandmother both are buried. What'd you say, at a church? It's a graveyard.
Yeah.
So it's a graveyard where they have old Civil War graves. Like none of them's in a row, and none of the tombstones are the same height. And I remember being 11 years old, toting 12, something like that, and toting my grandfather through there, and it just whooping our tails, because you're lifting the casket up and you're lowering it down.
That's that physical labor part, pairing with that grief.
And somebody, I was older than that. I was well into my teens, and it's just, if I just felt like you was toting him forever, but you wasn't going to drop your end, you know what I mean? You was going to do it the best you could and not so on. And then even with my grandmother, bless my mom and her sisters, they made sure she had the most spectacular stuff, and her casket was as heavy as I think could even be possible. So it was even heavier through that same graveyard, and I was a pallbearer for Mr. Bill and numerous other people, and there's just something to that.
There is, man. It's I think it's what you just described. Not only is the physical labor aspect, but also you are seeing that person through. You're respectfully caring, no longer for the person, but for the body of that person through to the very end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in my mind, the further you can take that and the more you can be involved in that and lean into that, the more rich that experience becomes for those of us who are still alive, caring for the ones that have passed that we have loved throughout our life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I seen a thing on cremation the other day. The guy at the morgue was talking, and he said, if you think the ashes you got or your loved one,
come on,
you're out of it.
It's just like when you send a deer to the deer processor.
Yeah.
If you think you're getting your deer back, you're a fool.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's really like mostly ashes. I think it's ground up bones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, they burn your flesh and muscle and everything, organs everything from your body, and then your bones are pretty much left with very few ashes, and then they send that through a grinder to grind up your bones.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just, I'm not for it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not against you if you are for it. I'm just saying, I think that when you die, you have a grand opportunity to provide the ones who care, who are your buddies. You have a grand opportunity to give them a really rich and meaningful experience that will last them the rest of their lives. And when you make the decision that you just want to go and get burned up because you don't want to inconvenience anybody, you're thinking about things in the wrong way. I really think that. So
Well, I think too though that it's the thought is opposite of that too though. I think a lot of people think this is going to be a financial burden because they don't think of it the way and you're saying, hey, we could dig this grave. We can be well in this process way more than what we are. People look at it as like, well, if I pass away, me and Chili had a long conversation about passing away. If I pass away, it's going to cost my wife $15,000 or more to bury me. See what I'm saying? That's the thought process of it. It's like, I don't want to put and I haven't decided to be cremated. This is the example I'm making. I don't want to put the financial burden on my family of having to pay $15,000 to $18,000 to bury me. I can get cremated for $600.
yeah.
That's where I guarantee you that's where the majority of that comes from.
Yeah, or you can get ahead of it and you can say, hey,
Right.
let's put this in a document. Let me go around and talk to my buddies about what I want done. So, and another thing that this also does is it makes you think about the relationships that you're investing in while you're here. It really does, because you start to think, you know what, man? If I die, does anybody care enough about me to even go out and dig a hole and throw me in that hole? You know, it makes you think.
But you're dead. Like, it wouldn't even be for you at that point, really. It'd be for your body.
Well, it's it's my wishes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You are, because you love me, acquiescing my request.
Do you feel strongly about honoring people's wishes for after they're dead? Like other people's?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the whole, to me, the whole, if you want to call it ceremonial aspect of it. I think that also brings some closure for people. It's all about the people who are left. Like if you ask me to do something for you when you die, well, that gives me the opportunity to feel like, you know, I'm doing something for my friend that he wanted done. He don't know nothing about it, but I'm honoring him, and I'm honoring our friendship in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when Captain Call hauled Gus all the way back across the United States. You know, he did that.
Yeah.
Gus the dog?
No. Gus McCrae.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
Lonesome Dove?
Oh, yeah, it's been too long. We watched that one time when we was up there at your
You
house
got to
in
read
Virginia.
the book. Yeah, you got to read the book. I don't know what y'all want to do with all that, other than maybe consider it and, think about maybe getting ahead of it. And, I think it's, but all of this, the scripture that it brought all of this death and grief and stuff that, is now or has been over the last 2 months part of my life, made me think about one verse particular came to my mind. And it's very short. It's verse 15, Job chapter 13. Job says, "Though he slay me, I will hope in him." Though he slay me, I will hope in him. And I thought, here's a man who's going through a far greater grief and suffering than I've experienced up to this point in my life. And he makes this proclamation in the midst of all that, while he's got his buddies around him accusing him, saying the reason you're suffering is your own dang fault. He's got his wife standing beside him, telling him to curse God and die. He's lost everything around him, all his worldly possessions, most of his family, and now even his physical body is to the point that he feels like he's going to die because his physical body's decaying. And he makes this proclamation in the midst of all his suffering: "Though he, the Almighty, slay me, I will hope in him." That ought to get your darn attention right there. How many of us, when you start having this grief and all this bad stuff start happening in your life, it was funny. Andrew Huberman had some scientist on the other day, and they talked about science and God. And the only part of the conversation that I've listened to was the beginning of the conversation. They were talking about how, if you believe in God and you pray, you're going to, according to the science, you're going to live longer, have lower depression, you're going to be happier, you're all this stuff. I'm like, if you enter into a relationship believing in God because you think that all of a sudden you're going to live longer and be happier and have lower blood pressure and have less stress, you are about to head down a dead-end street, son, because that is not the message. If you are serving a God that promises you all of this peace and joy and happiness by the world standards during this life, well, you're not serving the God. You're serving a demon. That's who you're serving. But for a man to be able to make this proclamation, I said, how on earth, because you're experiencing all this grief, you start saying, good night, man. But Job knew something that I think we don't know anymore. Actually, Job believed in something that we refuse to believe in for the most part. What allowed Job to make this proclamation right here is he believed in the sovereignty of God. That's what allowed him to make this proclamation. Job knew that whatever was happening to him was according to the Lord's will. Well, see, he didn't know the whole story. We get the whole story because we can read the whole book. But Job didn't know what was going on, but all he knew was whatever's happening here is according to the Lord's will for me. Now, whether he's causing it or whether he's allowing it to happen, I don't know. But I know that what's happening right now is according to his will. And so though, Lord, you slay me, I will still put my hope in you. How can I make that proclamation? Because I know whatever's happening, be it this great misery, this great grief, this sickness, this terrible experience, whatever it is, it's either being caused by the Almighty or he's allowing it to happen.
What's the distinction between those two? Causing it or allowing it? Like, what's the distinction between those two?
Well, I mean, I think if you cause something, it's like you're intervening, right? Even if it, basically what I'm saying, Job knew that there's nothing that's happening that God couldn't stop from happening. In other words, if you look at it from, just bring it down to the human level, humans make decisions and do things that are meant to be evil. Hitler meant to be evil, right? He made that decision not because God caused him to make that decision, but he made that decision out of the essence of his own nature. He made a decision that was meant for evil. If we want to look in the Bible, think about when Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, right? They meant that for evil. They meant it for evil. That was their intention. God could have stopped that. He could have disallowed that from happening. But instead, what he did is he let them make that choice that they meant for evil, and he took that and he actually turned that in or purposed that to be something that was good.
But how could he have stopped it? Because if it was done according to his will, then he couldn't really go against his own will. I'm not trying to get you. I'm just like asking. I mean, how could he have stopped it?
Do you think that anything that has ever happened, do you think that anything that's ever happened, that the Father could not have stopped it from happening?
Well, I'm saying whenever.
So then the implications of that is that everything that does happen is according to his will.
Yeah, but like I don't think you can say that he could have stopped it, because that would be saying he could have went against his own will.
Well, I see what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that if there would have been something that was going to happen that he stopped from happening, then yeah, everything's going in the direction of his will,
right?
All the time.
So he's saying there's two options: either he can stop things, or he's sovereign and he doesn't have to stop things because he's sovereign.
Yeah, but ultimately everything's going in the direction of his will. But the thing is, again, human freedom. We can make choices. We can choose to do things that are meant for evil. We see that in Scripture. We see that in our own reality, right? But I think I said it the other week on the podcast, our freedom is limited. In other words, we can't actually make decisions that are against basically that would change or divert from the will of God. That's how Job made this proclamation, is because he understood this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we just how else do you say this in the midst of great suffering unless you understand that what's happening to you is according to the will of the Father?
Yeah.
This is and it's like, I think when we read this, most of the time we think, well, Job was able to make this proclamation because he was a man of great faith, and it was his faith that allowed him to make this proclamation. But I think he probably was a man of great faith. But what we see in the whole book, this whole book is basically Job, as he goes through here and he pleads his case before God, he's not saying, God, I think this thing that's happening to me is happening to me, and it's apart from your control. Like, he's saying, I understand you're in control of all this that's happening to me, but he's saying why. He wants an answer. The answer he wants from God is, why is this part of your will for me? That's what he's asking throughout the whole book. Why? Lord, like, why is this your will for me? And God never gives him the answer. Yeah. He never knows. Finally, when the Lord shows up, he basically just says, who are you to question me? and what my will is for you. And that's the only answer he gets. And Job, after that's basically, he's just like, okay, yeah, you're right. I'll shut my mouth now.
Yeah.
But I think that what we're supposed to take from this, one of the things that we should take from this is, at least that I took from it as I go through all of loss and suffering, and I will continue probably to go through it, throughout the rest of my life if the Lord lets me keep living, is that all of this stuff that we're experiencing, none of it is like it's not the devil sneaking up on you under God's radar and causing you some sort of pain. Like we when we have these conversations too, it makes me go all the way back to the garden, and I think, did Satan like slip into the garden under God's radar and tempt Eve and foil God's whole plan for his entire creation? You think God didn't know what was going on? You think that the Father didn't allow that to happen? I mean, do you?
No.
Like, do you think there's ever been anything that happened that surprised God?
No.
Do you, Chill?
Well, I mean, I don't. To me, this gets to the heart of it all when you talk about God allowing things to happen or God causing things to happen. I mean, you've made the statement in the past that a lot of what we do is steal the honor and the glory away from God by placing the emphasis on our free will and like the illusion that we have all this choice in the matter, and like, look at all the good things we've chosen to do, on our own accord, right? Would you say that's a decent representation of that thought?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but the thing is like when you then talk about sin entering the world, the very beginning, did that catch God by surprise? Well, no, I definitely don't believe that. But especially according to that line of thinking, I think you have to believe that he caused it.
Well, then
because it was according to his plan. Like, if that hadn't happened, or a version of that hadn't happened, then the whole thing couldn't have happened. The whole saga couldn't have happened with Jesus coming to redeem us of that sin. But, I think you then like to make, like a lot of people make all these statements like about human wickedness and the wickedness that we've committed as if we had a choice in the matter. The problem is by placing the blame of sin on humanity, you are stealing that glory away from God, according to that line of thinking, in my opinion. And this is where the problem arises with evil, because that's a weird thing to say. Like, you talked about Hitler. Don't act like Hitler did that. That was God's plan, and you can't steal away God's glory from what came from that. That sounds rough to me. When you look at pedophiles and Hitler and whoever in the world, and you're like, don't blame that person for that. Give God the glory and the credit for that. That sounds rough.
And then you
kind of have to, if you go so hard line into.
You go further too, and you say, you talk, as much as we hate to talk about it, like the predestination, you say, well, it is fair that God can choose these people and not those people. But then you say, well, if he caused everybody to be sinners because of his initial prayer or his initial plan, and then he just chose to save these few, then you go into and say, well, if he caused me to be a sinner because of his plan and then didn't pick me, how is that fair that he picked the other and the fairness?
And I get then you want to look and go, well, it's not fair, and like, how can you question God?
Right,
like,
that's true.
But if you are forced to do something, we can't then start talking about how we're responsible for our own wickedness.
Yeah.
Because in that scenario, no, we're not.
Yeah, this is a dynamic that I don't quite understand. I'm trying to trace this down as best as I can. Because when we talk about the garden, for instance, if the Lord,
that had to happen that way,
right? If the
Lord
allowed, obviously he knew what Satan was up to. He allowed Eve to fall into temptation. Well, then we do the same thing that Job did. We say, okay, we accept that. There were no surprises for God. There's nothing that happens that he didn't know was going to happen. that wasn't according to his ultimate plan that was established before the creation of the cosmos.
You think it wasn't?
What's that?
You think it wasn't according to his? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying
Was.
There's nothing that happened that is not according to the plan that he established before even the creation was created. So then, but then we do what Job does, is we begin to question the will of God. We say, well, why did he let that happen? That's what Job was questioning. God, I understand this is happening because it's according to your will for me. Like, you're a part of this, but why? Why did you? And that's when the Father shows up and says, who are you to question my will? You know, but there is this strange aspect of human freedom in a sense, okay? I know it's so hard. I haven't traced it down yet. I don't understand it. But the first concept of human freedom is in the book of Genesis. Right. It says right here in 2, verse 16, the Lord God commanded man, saying, from any tree of the garden you may eat freely.
That implies will when he says, but don't do this. Yeah. Absolutely.
But from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat from it, you will surely die. In other words, this right here is saying, you humans are free, but your freedom is limited. I don't understand this dynamic yet. But somehow, I hope the Holy Spirit continues to help me as I contemplate it.
I think not understanding time is a big problem. Like, we will never know, well, on earth, what it's like to live outside of time. So we can't picture what it would be like for God to know the end from the beginning and that everything unfolds, yet it's unfolding for us. And he's viewing the whole timeline. Yeah. And we're just little characters within it. And we see these things as have happened, will happen, are happening. And they're all just happening for God. And that difference, I think, is a big reason why we can't understand, like, is this, how is your will? What's going to happen if this happens? And why did this? And we don't have the full picture, so we can't understand it all. We can just go off of what we see here and what we read.
Yeah, because, you go through all these stages when you begin to search, or when you began to search these questions. You go through these stages where you get to the conclusion that, we are just robots.
Right.
You kind of go through that stage.
Yeah.
And then you come here and you say, well, here God is giving these humans freedom, but he's limiting their freedom. Basically, and so then that begins to like make you think about things in a different way. And one of the things I think that this ties to it in some way is that humans are not free in the sense that we are autonomous, meaning that we make decisions and can make decisions completely independent or free from the influence of God's will. So like we have freedom, but we are not autonomous. There's only one autonomous being, and it's not any human being, nor spiritual being, but the uncreated being, the supreme being, who is the Father.
That also became a human being.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing, because it does all, our will is closely tied in with our sin nature. I think pretty much all of us believe we were born with a sin nature. But sometimes you have to rethink that a little bit whenever you're thinking about all this, because it's a little bit confusing, because you would say, well, Adam and Eve were not born with a sin nature, but
me and Blake talked about that the other day.
But now we are, and in a way, we look at sin as a necessary component of humanness. Like, to be a human, sin has to be present. But it doesn't. Adam and Eve were humans without sin for a time. Jesus was a human without sin. Like, you know what I mean? But he was fully human. Adam and Eve were fully human. I don't think they were not fully human before the fall. They were. So it's not a requirement for human.
The interesting thing about Jesus, though, is he was born of a virgin.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he was like... He was
fully human.
If you call him fully human, well then, okay, you can go... fully human, had no sin, so that must not be a requirement to be a human.
But I wonder if that, because he was not, what do they say, the progeny of man, I wonder if that isn't what gave him the ability to inhabit a human body and have the choice to not sin, is because he I've said that before. It's a complete theory.
But you think we have the choice to not sin?
No, I don't.
But do you think Adam and Eve had the choice to not sin?
So that would be what me and Blake talked about the other day.
Because they weren't born. They weren't
exactly. They were not. Yeah. They were not brought into. They were created, and they were not brought into this existence under the curse. So were they? You know, and Scripture compares and contrasts Adam with Jesus. Even calling Jesus the last Adam. Yeah. And so did Adam have the ability to live out his life without sin because he was not under the curse? Was it Jesus and Adam? You know what I'm saying? I thought about something the other day too, Blake. You know, one thing that is interesting that we never address as the church is, what about all these millions of people who have lived, be it Native Americans or be it people who, primitive people, who've never heard about Jesus? What happens to them? Because we can start thinking, like the other day on the podcast, Corn, you said, we were talking about something about reprobate mind, and we talked about, you know, we can start thinking, why are people condemned to hell? Is it because they chose not to accept Jesus Christ as their Savior? It can't be that. What about all these people who have been condemned to hell, who never have heard or had no even inkling of Jesus Christ? Why do we never talk about this?
Can you reject something that you've never heard?
Exactly. So it can't be that.
Well, you could argue that you could. You never chose it. I mean, it would be because you weren't afforded the opportunity. But that seems really
that doesn't go along with logic.
Assuming it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's assuming it's fair. We've done a lot of assuming it's fair, and then we've rethought that. So that's one thought. But like, I agree. That seems like a problem.
And also, you know, I think it's in Romans that it says no man is without excuse, talking about God manifests himself through creation. And I thought about this.
That implies a will too, but
I thought about this when we went to Kenya, and we were talking with the Maasai people that still maintain their tribal origins and everything and live in that manner. And I was asking them about, you know, what did you guys, like, what was y'all's religion before someone told you about Jesus?
Real similar.
And and they were saying, you know, we believe there was one God. We believe that he lived up on the mountain, and they believed some certain tree was like holy, and that's where they would go worship him. And you would listen to that and start to be like, oh yeah, that's not it. But then you go read the Old Testament, and there's so much of God on the mountain. Where did Moses go to meet with God? All of these things, and it would make you think that they were probably worshiping the same God, maybe, although they did do things that are called sin in the Bible, but so did people in the Bible that were God's people, that they worship probably maybe the same God that we did, just through their revelation of where they were living in creation and being accountable to what it is. And we have the verse that for the man that knows what to do and doesn't do it, for that man is sin, which basically says you're accountable to the degree you know which to do wrong, which is the law that shows us our wrongdoing. When we don't know we're doing wrong till we read the law. It's what the Bible says in the book of Romans in chapter 7. Paul says, if it wasn't for the law, I wouldn't even know that coveting is wrong. But now that I know coveting is wrong, all of these evil desires are brought up in me, and so that's revealed it to me. So in saying all that, I think that there's examples in Scripture of people. What about the people of the Old Testament that were maybe told about Jesus but died before the time he was there? Before he came and died on the cross.
Well, we have an example. I mean, we see Abraham as the example that's used specifically by the Apostle Paul. In how was Abraham saved prior to the atonement that was made on the cross? And he was saved by faith in God, right? Yeah. He was still saved by faith, the same type of faith that we have.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying, Blake. I mean, it's interesting to me that we never address this. We never have this there's been millions of people. I'll walk around in my backyard and pick up arrowheads, and I say, well, this joker right here didn't never know nothing about Jesus. Why did he go to hell?
Well, it says, how does it say we're saved? By grace through faith.
That's right. But faith in what?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I see the line of thinking you're saying. Could these primitive cultures or ancient cultures, could they have come to the knowledge of the one true God and put their faith in God, and therefore they were saved by the same means that Abraham was saved?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. On the flip side, you can say these jokers never knew about the one true God. They may have been worshiping a God. They may have seen evidence of creation, but they never knew the one true God. They never knew, post-Jesus, the atonement of the cross, there's only one way to heaven, and that's through faith in Christ. Jesus is the gate. He's the way, the truth, the life. So then you can say, well, all these ancient cultures were condemned to hell. Why? Because of sin.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to it. It's not a question that's discussed very often, though.
Yeah.
But ultimately, man is condemned to hell because of sin. That's why he's condemned to hell. This is where we go deep on the podcast, boys. That's why we got to have these PhD types on here.
If you just had Data Mike today, he's got all he knows everything in the Bible.
It'd have been over 30 minutes ago, bub.
Yeah.
That's what I want to discuss with y'all today. Now, Chili, you better get warmed up, Bubba.
Got that construction book.
He pulled out his plans, ain't he?
Oh my God.
Oh, you better get. I just tuned this baby up last night. I'll tell you what, Dad, when this guitar. Well, that's fine. I'm playing, man. They can give me more super chats when I'm done playing. Now look.
Yo, you putting the capo on?
I got to capo this baby up, son.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah, a little bit more down. There
Wow.
you go. That's how I
Chili,
play
you
it.
getting tuned up or what, man? I'll tell you what, Dad, when this guitar gets out of tune, it just don't sound right. You know what I'm saying? How's that sound to you? About the chord of G, Chili. About the chord of G.
All right.
I am the man, Thomas. I am the man. Look at these nail scars here in my hand. They drove me up the hill, Thomas. I am the man. They made me cut across, Thomas. I am the man. They crown my head with thorns, Thomas. I am the man. They nail me. Oh! I got out of whack on that.
Oh,
Good.
What'd you go to
night,
Eddie's trick
boy.
shop and buy that harmonica?
I couldn't even hear you over there,
Oh,
man.
they heard it.
Okay.
yeah. Those are recorded separately.
He got that out of a cereal box.
They heard it.
How'd y'all
Jack.
like that?
That was nice.
Solo.
Nice.
I can't wait to go back and listen to Chili tuning in on the background and chord a G, son.
Hey,
I got this off of that homeless guy.
did you?
Remember at where was that? In like Cleveland, Georgia. Remember that bridge? Wasn't Tallapoosa.
Oh, I don't
Where
know.
was it?
Sylvester.
Sylvester.
How'd you like that performance, Paris James?
Remember that old ratty dude that would play in Sylvester?
Yeah, you jerked that out of his mouth.
Well, we had Marty Bingham come in at $4.99.
Check your email, Marty.
He said, during the selection process for the basic course, which is said to be more complicated than a papal conclave decision, please keep this in mind. If Guitarzan is bringing his git fiddle, just go ahead and count me out. I ain't got time for a bunch of caterwauling while I'm trying to relax.
Marty, if you want in the basic course, check your email. What's wrong with this old
Too
geezer?
busy building bridges, man. You
Golly.
think Marty knows how to use email and that gone, man? He's 82 years old.
Well, and he come back in at 1999 and then said, in all of my 85 years, I have never met a guitar player that had good sense. Chad may prove to be the exception, but I doubt it.
Thank
Marty,
you, Marty.
screw off, Marty.
We had Clayton Lindsay come in at $4.99.
Soldier. Big dog. Roof.
Fired pork chops, black-eyed peas with tomato relish, warm applesauce, and cornbread.
There you go.
Yeah, Clayton eats good. He's all the time posting pictures of food on his
Big dog.
Instagram.
He cooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he eats good.
We had cornbread crumbs coming in at $1.99. Said new Bojangles coming to town. Can't wait to try it.
Down to Dallas?
I'm not sure.
Dang.
We had JC. He
Well, I
came
woke up
in.
this morning, it was drizzling rain. Round the curve come a passenger train. Heard somebody yodel and a hobo moan. Jimmy, daddy, been a long time gone. Been a long time.
Gone.
Gone. If you wanna get to heaven, gotta D.I.E. Gotta put on your coat and T.I.E. If you wanna get that rabbit out the L.O.G., you gotta make a commotion like a D.O.G. Like a D.O.G.
G.
Like a D.O.G.
Waylon couldn't have done it better.
He didn't, as a matter of fact.
Well, we had JC. Thanks for that halftime. We had JC come in at $20. Thank you to Chili for your testimony. It was highly meaningful, and I needed to hear everything you had to say at this time in my life, dying unto myself.
Thank you, JC.
Yeah, that went big.
go.
That
We had-
testimony went big.
I had Chili Beans coming in at $1.99 and said, "You're welcome, JC."
Dang.
Whoa.
Super chat battles.
We had Zach Weaver, $9.99. Chad, thank you and the fellas. Chad, you and the fellas motivate the fire out of me. Got me back into running. It's great to watch a show that's entertaining and keeps Christ at the center. Love you guys. Keep it up.
We'll try, brother. Thanks for tuning in.
We had Harvest McCullough come in at $20.
I remember him.
It says, this super chat is sponsored by Tree Packing Pete's 1995 PKC World Coon Hunting Championship. Big thank you to the ROP Team Selection Committee. See you gentlemen in 2026, if not before. Appreciate you, gentlemen.
Dang, we might be figuring out who a harvest is.
Oh my gosh.
How do you know all that?
He's been listening to some stuff.
We had elderly bovine come in at $1.99. The old
Get
bull.
that cockroach out your mouth before the rub.
The old bull does have feelings after all.
Hey, Chad is being conformed, dude. Like as he was talking, I was like, man,
To the ways of the world?
No.
He's being transformed.
Transformed, yeah.
Oh.
I was like, this joker right here is changing right before our eyes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Took me long enough.
He's getting the scales off his heart.
yeah.
I don't know about that.
Blake the Jake, $1.99. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Wow. Thank you, guy.
We had Rise the Hog Steve come in at $49.99.
Good night.
Oh, what's his name?
Rise
Rise.
the Hog Steve.
How's the hall?
He said, so whether you eat or drink, whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Keep fighting the good fight, brothers. Ride the hog, Steve. His name is Rise the Hog, but in here he wrote Ride the Hog. So,
You reckon he rides a motorcycle?
That's what a hog is.
Yeah.
yeah, I bet he's not riding the animal.
Wonder if he's reformed.
He ain't. He should be.
Yeah.
Then Cornbread Crumbs comes in at $1.99 and says, is it Ride the Hog or Rise the Hog?
Who is this guy?
These folks are getting wild in the super chat.
I don't know.
I think I know who Cornbread Crumbs is.
Then we had Rise the Hog Steve come back in at $4.99. Said I misspelled and can't make the correction for 14 days. Thanks, YouTube. Ride the Hog.
I mean, they're literally paying to talk to each other.
That's big.
They don't even have nothing to say to us.
That is awesome.
Then Cornbread Crumbs comes back in at $1.99 and says, what kind of bike you got? Let's ride.
This is about to tick Chad off. He's about to shut it down.
That's crazy. He'd be more okay with it if it wasn't 99 cents, too. He always gets mad.
Then we had Morning Sinner coming at $9.99. When someone knocks at my door, I know that my dog is going to bark. Does this rob my dog of the choice to bark?
Look, guy, you just being an idiot now. Just shut up.
Good night.
Then we had Gatekeeper, Radio 347.
He's a good one.
$9.99. I really enjoyed the testimonials. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. See y'all 10:25.
Thank you, Paul.
There you go.
All right.
That's it.
That's it.
All right. Well,
See you, Harvest McCullough 2026.
Got your bracelets on.
You going to talk about it? Just mention it, Blake.
I did. Look at these.
all right. We love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Enough said.